There are plenty of us who love the mountains and rivers of that truly beautiful state, but we must now say clearly that the moral climate there is no longer acceptable.
This was the speech that started it all, a post-performance plea from Barbra Streisand at an AIDS benefit urging fellow entertainers to condemn Colorado for a recently passed amendment she called anti-gay.
If we are asked to, we must refuse to play where they discriminate.
The speech was seen as a battle cry to boycott Colorado, a challenge quickly picked up on by organizations, other cities, and even some of the state's own citizens.
We're encouraging everyone outside of the state of Colorado to stay away from the state of Colorado. This state has written discrimination and hate into its constitution.
The new amendment forbids the state's government from banning discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Though passed statewide, residents in cities like Aspen, long a playground for the rich and famous, voted against the amendment. At a press conference last week, Aspen resident Chris Everett spoke out against boycotting that city and read a statement from Streisand clarifying her earlier remarks.
I have not called for a boycott, but I believe that one should speak out when the civil rights of any group, whether based on gender, religion, race, or lifestyle, are being threatened.
Everett and her husband, skier Andy Mill, experienced the effects of the boycott firsthand when the American Foundation for AIDS Research withdrew from an Aspen fundraiser they had organized last weekend. But the event did bring out plenty of vacationing stars and at least one angry Aspen resident, John Denver.
Barbra Streisand, who I have a great deal of respect for, but what business has she got judging our community? She comes here once a year for a week. She doesn't know this community. And what happened here in Colorado is certainly not a reflection of this community.
One Aspen resort official says the boycott has had an effect with a number of reservation cancellations for the ski resort. Meantime, the city is leading the fight to have the amendment overturned.
This week, the Richmond
Colorado adds star power to its lineup and costs the Rocky Mountain State millions. Entertainment Tonight has the story for this Monday, December 14th, 1992.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Entertainment Tonight. I'm John Tesh.
And I'm Mary Hart. The scenic mountains and ski slopes of Colorado have long been a Hollywood favorite for work and for play. Stars in Aspen used to be one big happy family, but not any longer.
If we are asked to, we must refuse to play where they discriminate.
It has been nearly 4 weeks since Barbra Streisand sounded the call to boycott Colorado. Her speech came hot on the heels of the state's newly passed Amendment 2, which prohibits Colorado's government from banning discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Soon, other stars joined Streisand on the boycott bandwagon.
The people of Colorado or any other state have every right to put their feelings on the ballot, and I have every right to respond.
I'd like to see people stay out until maybe a new perception is agreed upon.
Now Hollywood's uproar over the so-called anti-gay legislation is hitting Coloradoans in their pocketbooks. Producers of an upcoming miniseries based on the Stephen King novel The Stand recently informed the state's film commissioner, Michael Klein, that they had decided not to film in Colorado. The reason? The passage of Amendment 2.
I received a letter stating that we were in a neck-and-neck competition with another state, but that with the passage of Amendment 2, it became a much easier decision to make.
It's a loss, Klein says, will cost the state $6 to $10 million in income. That's just the kind of result David Smith of the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation is hoping the boycott will have.
We're basically doing work to support the boycott, to send a very strong message to not only Colorado, but other parts of the country as well, that hate is not only going to be bad public policy, it'll be bad for your pocketbook as well.
But not everyone is boycotting. Musical groups, including the Manhattan Transfer and the Grateful Dead, are donating proceeds from their Colorado concerts to a legal fund aimed at overturning the law. And concert promoter Barry Fay says it's a solution that makes sense.
They can do a lot more good by coming, playing, and helping the effort than staying away.
And Aspen resident Cher says education of Coloradoans, not alienation, is the answer.
I think that there's a lot of things that we have to do, but I don't know that boycotting Aspen is one of them. It's not, and I'm not going to do it.
Streisand, however, says boycott is the answer, and, quote, I will personally honor it and find some other state to vacation in.
Barbra Streisand is also in the big winner category. She's set to sign a movie and record contract worth at least $60 million. It guarantees at least $5 million each for 6 new albums and $6 million for the movies she stars in, plus $3 million for the film she directs.
The
boycott that Barbara has called for has had absolutely zero effect on what goes on in this town this 2 weeks. Zero, zip, nada.
Controversy goes downhill in Aspen as stars ring out the old, ring in the new. Entertainment Tonight has the story for you this Thursday. It's New Year's Eve, 1992. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Gibbons. Let me add my wishes to you for a Happy New Year. In the star-struck community of Aspen, Colorado, there is anger and resentment this holiday season over a new anti-gay rights law which goes into effect January 15th. Feelings are strong.
If that law were passed against Jews or people of color, the whole country would be outraged, and nobody would question a boycott of that state.
As Barbra Streisand stands firm behind her boycott of Colorado, she's included the holiday playground of the rich and famous Aspen. While a few stars have denounced the ritzy resort town, many celebs were out in the cold. Under the ski garb are Aspen residents Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. There's Harry Hamlin and his son heading for the slopes, and Cher could be found with old beau Rob Camilletti doing a little shopping in town. Many stars are keeping a low profile to avoid the controversy of Amendment 2, and that's precisely why they vacation in Aspen, according to Brian Abbas of the Aspen Daily News.
Look, celebrities normally live in an insulated world where they can avoid dealing with tough things like boycotts and discrimination. And when they come to Aspen for their holiday vacation, they want to get even further away from that. The boycott that Barbara has called for has had absolutely zero effect on what goes on in this town this 2 weeks. Zero, zip, nada.
Hollywood mogul Steve Tisch and Donald Trump, who both opposed the amendment, said they came to town to spend the holidays with their families.
But I had this plan for a long time with my children, and I wasn't going to go back on my word.
Locals say Streisand should have been more specific when slamming liberal Aspen because of the conservative politics of Colorado.
It's unfortunate because I think Aspen doesn't reflect the rest of the state.
I think Aspen is going to survive almost any situation.
Despite the debate, there seems to be plenty of the nightlife that Aspen is famous for, and Rocky Mountain partier James Coburn took time out to lend his support to the town in turmoil.
We have been having a ball, and we're going to continue having a ball, and I hope all the gays and the lesbians have a ball, too, as well as everyone else, black, white, red, yellow, green, purple, blue, brown. I mean, listen, we're all people.
Many citizens of Aspen are angry about the boycott because they voted against the amendment and don't think it's fair that they are being singled out by its effects.